So as you guys can see, or if you guys haven't seen my last video, I am expecting a little baby, a tiny human. These type of videos can easily be all over the place, and in the beginning I thought, girl, you're gonna remember everything that happened every week and you don't have to write it down. Or I planned on writing it down, but another week would pass, another week would pass, another week would pass, and I wouldn't write it down. But I know I did write it down in one of these apps, and I'm sitting here going through it and I couldn't even remember which app it was because I have so many apps. Hold one second. Basically in that video I just talked you guys through basically the weekend I found out I was pregnant, the day I found out, and how the whole rest of that weekend went to basically confirm that I was pregnant. So this video I want to kind of get more in depth on like my symptoms and how I was feeling from week to week to week, because when I first found out I was pregnant, y'all know one of the first things I did was go on YouTube and type in 6 weeks pregnant to see other people's experiences, or like what they experienced. And literally all of the videos are old as hell. Like they're 3 years old. A lot of people are from the UK. A lot of people are not women of color, and I just want to be that variable, be here for you guys. So if you guys are pregnant, or if you guys just found out you're pregnant like literally this morning, congratulations, and hopefully I can help you guys. Hopefully we have something in common, and if you guys already have a baby, y'all can help me. So when I found out I was pregnant, like I told you guys in the last video, if you missed it, I will link it somewhere on the screen, but make sure you guys go watch that. You can actually pause this video and go watch that, and then come back to this so we can all be on the same page. But when I first found out I was pregnant, the blood test showed that I was between 5 to 6 weeks pregnant. Then I went and got an ultrasound, which I also told you guys about. And once I got, once I got the ultrasound, where's my computer charger? Because this thing is about to die. And I don't remember the last time I used my computer. I was on the floor. Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. Once I got the ultrasound and those results came back, I think at that point I was 6 weeks and some odd days. Now at this point it was still iffy about like my days and stuff like that, because they couldn't base mine off of my period, my last period, only because I don't know when that was. So they basically count your period, how far along you are by your last missed period, which is kind of confusing. I don't get how you can count a last missed period if it never came. So how the hell are you counting it? I guess they count it from your period before. I don't know, but they could not do that with me, or they did. So those numbers were kind of a little bit off, but they weren't that much off. They were off probably by a few days. And at that point you don't really get an accurate due date or anything like that either. You just basically finding out how far along you are and what's going on inside of there, and at that point you need to go find you a OBGYN. So at this point, the day that I got the blood work that confirmed I was pregnant, I started taking prenatals. Like literally I was taking prenatals the day I found out I was pregnant. I'm not playing those games. So I went to Target, and that's where I went and bought the pregnancy test, just to take it to see it for myself, like literally pee on the stick and take it. I just wanted to do that just to confirm it, even though I found out at the doctor, like, there's no denying it, sis. But I still wanted to take a pregnancy test and like find that, like, see it for myself. I think that's just the Virgo in me. Like, we need to know. We need to know details. So I bought a pregnancy test, and I bought prenatal vitamins. They're in my car because I don't take those anymore, but I bought the Nature Made prenatals plus DHA or whatever, and they were not too big, pretty big, but I don't know. This is not something that I would take my whole pregnancy. Even though I asked the pharmacist, and she said this is the most recommended one. So if that is what you're taking, go right ahead, continue to take that. But it's just, I couldn't see myself taking that thing the whole time because it was kind of big. And then I don't know if it was the prenatals making me feel like that, making me feel the way I felt, or if it was just being pregnant. So I couldn't really distinguish at that time. So yeah, I was taking prenatal vitamins. So like I said, I was probably, let's say I was, the fact that I know the day that I turn a new week, I turn a new week every Tuesday. So I'm just gonna go by that. So let's say at that point, I was 6 weeks and 2 days pregnant. So like I said, at that point, you need to go find yourself an OBGYN, like ASAP. Now, I watched a lot of videos, and a lot of people said that they did not go to their first GYN appointment until they was like 12 weeks. I'm like, what? That is freaking crazy. I don't know. Thankfully, I did not have to deal with that. But a lot of people say that they didn't go to you didn't go to the doctor that early, or doctors don't see you that early. But so my mother called around to a lot of different doctors, and I'm sure I mentioned in one of these videos that we like black female doctors. So we looked for black female doctors, and so we found the doctor that I'm going to now. So they told me that I could come in for, I think I went in at 8 weeks, 7 or 8, I think it was like 8 weeks, going on 8 weeks. And I wouldn't be seeing the doctor, but I would be seeing the physician's assistant, and they will like get you set up, get you in the system, you know, like get the ball rolling. So I was super thankful that I was able to go at an earlier time. I just couldn't imagine just now going to the doctor like 2 weeks ago, being mad pregnant. Like, you experience so many symptoms over them first 12 weeks and so many different things. I cannot imagine not having a doctor. Like, no, like, that's just crazy. And that's why people choose the different type of birthing experiences that they choose, because some like health insurances in some states and stuff, the way y'all go about stuff is so crazy. I live in New Jersey, so I don't know if things vary from state to state, but like that's crazy. Yeah, anyways, so first doctor's appointment, I got an ultrasound, and I want to show you guys the real pictures, but that means my ass gotta get up. Let me get up and just show you guys. So the first ultrasound that I told you guys about in the video, that was at the hospital, and that was to make sure that the baby was actually in there. And I didn't show you guys in the last video, but I kind of explained it. First of all, look how tiny my baby was. Literally a dot. At this point, this is when we named the baby Peanut. We don't even call the baby Peanut no more, because this baby ain't no peanut, okay? And here I was so confused because it said 8 weeks and 2 days, but that says last missed period. And so after I doing all of my research and like asking around, basically they count pregnancy before conception. You start counting your pregnancy the moment that the egg drops down, but not until it's fertilized, not until you conceive do they start counting the weeks pregnant that you are. So here it says 8 weeks and 2 days, but really I was 6 weeks and 2 days. Okay, you guys get it? You guys get it? Okay, so went to the first doctor's appointment, like I said, And so I got my ultrasound. That was the first thing you always do. You go do your ultrasound first. Well, you go give urine, and then you go do the ultrasound. And that ultrasound was also a transvaginal ultrasound, because even still at that point you're too early to get it abdomen ultrasound. They don't start doing that until like 12 weeks or whatever, depending on the scenario, whatever. And these two pictures are literally, let's see how many weeks apart. This was on July 11th. I found out I was pregnant on July 6th. This is on July 11th. This, my first doctor's appointment, was on July 27th. Look at the difference. When I tell y'all, I was in shock. Look at this. This is a 3-week difference. It went from a dot, you guys see where it says hi mommy and daddy, to where it says baby. Like, it went from a whole dot to a little baby bear. And I compare my ultrasound pictures to a lot of people that I see, like on the pregnancy apps and stuff like that. People post in there and everything like that. And these are some pretty clear pictures. Like, to be regular ultrasounds, these things are clear. Like, when you look at some people ultrasounds, you gotta really look like, what am I looking at? No, these things are clear. And I don't know if it's because my facility is brand new. Like, they literally just haven't even been open a year. They had another office, but it's a brand new office, so I'm sure they have all brand new equipment in there. But those pictures are clear as freaking day. And I did a ton of blood work. They just did all type of blood work for me. And then I went into the office to meet the physician's assistant, and she was so super sweet. She's also a young black girl. She's probably not even 35 years old, and she's like already lit in her career, which is so wonderful. I'm gonna ask her what school she went to, because I have a feeling she went to a HBCU, but I need to ask her. I'm gonna ask her the next time. She probably went to Spelman or something like that. I don't know, maybe she went to Hampton, who knows. Who is this? My mother, the baby grandma. See how this video could get so long, because I'm already at 13 minutes and I have not even gone through my symptoms yet, so this might be into 2 parts. Okay, so at that visit she went over my first ultrasound from when I went to the hospital, and I didn't get those results. They don't give you those results. I guess they send it to whatever doctor you're gonna go to, or they put it in a portal, and I had never read it, so I didn't know. But I had a cyst on my right ovary, and she said it was 3 centimeters. And she said it's nothing to be worried or concerned about. Women get cysts every month when they come on their period, and usually they just go away. And I looked up a lot of stuff about that, not to panic or anything, but just looked up different videos, and a lot of women have multiple cysts on both ovaries. I literally have one in one ovary, a little 3 centimeter cyst. So she just said that she was going to monitor that, and she basically just walked me through like the different dates of different things, when I should expect to get certain stuff done, you know, like just like the basic stuff like that. But I really, like, it was so cool to me. I'll post a picture just in sitting there waiting. I literally took a picture of everything, just waiting for her to come in there. But she was so nice and so thorough, and they don't rush you, and they don't, like, it's not an in and out thing. Like, they really take the time to cater to the fact that you are a new mother. And I literally never in my life have been pregnant before, like never been pregnant. It's my first pregnancy. And so, like, you really need to go to a doctor that is caring and that is thorough. And if you don't feel that at the first visit, you need to go find a new doctor. Literally, because this is not the experience where you want to have a rude doctor. And I've had a rude doctor before, and I cut her ass to the freaking curb. Like, no, mind you, that was just a regular primary care doctor. So I can't imagine a doctor that's going to be all in my vagina and delivering my baby being rude. So if you guys are experiencing that early on, get the hell out and go find a new doctor ASAP. will basically now get into like the symptoms that I was experiencing during that time. So at this point in time, like I said, how many weeks was I at this first appointment? Oh, I was 8 weeks and 2 days at that point at my first appointment. So literally, like I was telling you guys in the previous video, if I didn't have that pap smear appointment, I really don't know when I would have found out I was pregnant. According to my symptoms and when they came, I probably would have found out pretty soon after, or I probably would have got concerned soon after, but it would have been at least another 3 weeks and I probably would have already been 9 weeks, and so this whole thing would have seemed like it happened a little bit faster than it did. But I really didn't have no pregnancy symptoms. I mean, now that I look back, I can kind of think of like some days when I was like, yo, that was a symptom. So literally my main symptom was just fatigue, like literally drainage. But y'all know that I stand on my feet for hours upon hours a day. I'm a hairstylist. I'm tired. This is summer. This is July. It was hot. When I tell you it was hot around this time, I really was not thinking. I was just like thinking. I was just tired. I was going out every weekend during this time. It was hot outside and I was working super hard. So me being tired, none of that crossed my, like, it didn't raise any red flags to me. Even though I was like falling asleep at work, like in between clients, I literally had to go sit on the couch and go to sleep. But it still wasn't, it wasn't making me like question myself or anything like that. Of course, obviously I did not have a period, but I told you guys that my period is funny acting. She does what she wants to do. So me missing my period did not alarm me either, because I have missed my period for 3 months in a row before and I was not pregnant. So I really was not concerned about that either. My breasts were sore. Yes, they were. But my breasts get sore when my period is on its way too. Another reason I was not alarmed whatsoever. And then I kind of was having, when I get my period, I don't get your usual cramps, like stomach cramps that people complain of. And my lower back just like aches. Like it doesn't hurt, but it just feels like you feel blah. And so I kind of had that, but it was nothing severe. Or it was just basically like, oh, my period must be trying to come. And also, I didn't have any spotting at all. And to this day, I have not had any spotting, which is amazing, which is wonderful. And I'm super thankful about that. No spotting. So, basically, I had no idea I was freaking pregnant unless I had this doctor's appointment, and everything literally happens for a reason. Otherwise, I don't know when I would have found out I was pregnant. The video at the spa you guys saw on my channel, I was definitely pregnant in that video and had no idea. In the sauna, acting a plain fool, I was pregnant. I went to a water park, I got on a ride, I was pregnant. Oh, and this is one thing. My appetite had totally changed. I can remember 1 week where I felt like I was super hungry, but it was just like 1 week. Like, okay, me and my mother went to hibachi, and I can remember this vividly. I literally ate all my food. And when I go eat hibachi, I never eat all my food. I ate all my food. But that also did not raise a red flag for me. But that only lasted like a couple days. After that, I had no appetite at all. Like, we went to the amusement park. It was a big family day type of thing. All of this food, like so much food. I was hungry. And when I saw the food, and it was good food, like food that I would normally eat. When I saw the food and I just saw everybody packing their plates on, I was just looking at it like, I can't do this. Like, it's not even that I felt nauseous. It just, It did not look appealing to me at all. Like, I literally sat there and ate a hot dog and like some pasta salad. Like, it literally was and so that was kind of like, but it still didn't make me think anything. But now looking back, those were all symptoms. And then I have 2 more things. I remember one day I got out the shower and I looked at myself in the mirror and I looked at my stomach, and it's not that it was big, or not bigger than it already was, but it's not that it looked big, it just looked like something over here just looked funny. Like, it looked like an indentation or something was in my stomach. My stomach looked funny, but still didn't think I was pregnant. And then one day I was driving to work, and you guys know how you go around bends, like on the highway, getting off an exit, and I got so nauseous going around the bend, and I'm like something, like a wave just went over me. And I think that was the first day, this is still before I found out, that was the first time that something, like a light bulb went off in my head. Like, girl, what the hell? Like, for real. Mind you, after all the stuff that I have dealt with, like dizziness and all the crazy shit I was dealing with last year, that moment I just felt like, whoa, like, why do I feel like this going around a freaking bend? So those are all of like the weird little things that happened that was trying to tell me I was pregnant, but I had no idea.